Our weight loss program at TRTMD is really focused on body composition change, body transformation. We're more interested in that than we are in weight. But many of my patients come to me with excess fat. They find that they haven't been able to build muscle the way they used to. Many of them have lost muscle mass. And they're just in a very unhealthy, inflamed state, metabolic inflammation. Metabolic inflammation is the enemy. So our body composition transformation or weight loss is centered on balancing sex hormones, testosterone and other hormones, on reducing inflammation. We reduce inflammation a couple of ways. One is we use a low inflammation diet. There are lifestyle changes you need to make here, and we run through that more thoroughly, but very definitely lifestyle changes. But also we use anti-inflammatory peptides. These are peptides that are abundant in children. Up until about junior high, they have these anti-inflammatory peptides that naturally occur in their thymus gland that's establishing and regulating their immune system. We lose the ability to produce these anti-inflammatory peptides as we get older, but fortunately the compounding pharmacies can make them, and so we suppress inflammation and then introduce growth hormone peptides. Growth hormone peptides build muscle, build bone, and cut fat, especially visceral and belly fat, the most unhealthy kind. And finally, semaglutide. Semaglutide, it slows gastric emptying, it shuts off the appetite centrally, and it really facilitates in fat loss. Both the anti-inflammatories, the growth hormone peptides, the semaglutide, those all tend to be goal-oriented, if you will. People may be on it for 3 or 6 months. Many people are on semaglutide around 6 months. I have some people who have over 100 pounds to lose. Some of them have been on therapy for a year, but eventually, once we get to goal, they stop. Growth hormone's interesting. You feel great on growth hormone. I have people who will use growth hormone peptides episodically after that, and it's usually goal-oriented. If they've got their body composition straightened out, they put on a bunch of muscle, they took off a bunch of fat, they're in great shape. A year later, they may come and say, hey, look, I'm getting ready for a triathlon, and I would like to do a round of growth hormone to help get ready for that. And we can do that. I have other people, a friend of mine, his father was a mentor of mine. I've known this gentleman for decades, since he was a child actually. His whole adult life, he was over 100 pounds overweight, his whole adult life. He came to me, he was in his 40s, and he went on testosterone, anti-inflammatory peptides, growth hormone peptides, semaglutide. In 5 months, he had lost 60 pounds while putting on a bunch of muscle. So that means he's lost 70, 75 pounds of fat. He figured at that time that I saw him later, a few months later, he was 85 pounds down. He thought he had about 30 more pounds to go, but the whole time he's building muscle. When I saw him last, he had taken up running. His father was a runner. This guy's turning into his father, which is a good thing. His father's a great guy. Was a great guy, but he was preparing for a race where you run 50 miles in one day. Now, I encourage him to get counseling. 50 miles in a day, I don't know. I mean, I get tired driving 50 miles, but his whole life was changed. And it's transformational. It's fun to see, and it's a joy to be able to help people make these changes in their life.